Y for sound. Can you hear me? Do we need that thing?
Yeah, it's for the film.
Oh, for the film. All right, my love? How are you? Right, as... I'll have that after. As... oh, thank you for the introduction. Yeah, my name's Deedigan. I'm from Can Do Arts for Sustainable Development. We've been going for about 15 years now. Part of the reason we've been going is for the reason we started in the first place, which was partly to explain what sustainable development is. Hands up if anyone knows what that actually means. Wow, you should give me some funding and I can explain it to them, yeah? I can do mime and everything. Or, the other part was responding to working in prisons with, anyone heard of Geese Theatre Company? Good. Have you heard of them then? You all been to prison? Wow, I didn't expect that in this audience. She's writing it down. Good. Right, Geese Theatre Company, I worked there as a freelance director, and when I was in those prisons, I realised that lots of the inmates, A, had obviously committed crime, because that's how it works, but B, hadn't had access, like I was very fortunate to have access to the arts as a young person, when I was going into sort of a bit rebellious stage and committing crimes. In fact, I was on a trajectory so steep that if it had not been abated, I would be a member of David Cameron's cabinet right now. I'm talking deep criminal. Political? No, I'm only joking. Of course, they're all very good. Thank you for coming. Right, so when I was in the prisons, I realized that lots of these young people who had committed crimes, when I investigated, realized that they had not had the opportunity to express themselves. So for me, the arts isn't about, and of course it's always been about, propaganda and getting people to vote a certain way or believe in a certain religion. We all know that, from cave paintings right through to political campaigns, etc., etc. Art and artists have been manipulated and paid and prostituted themselves out to do all sorts of stuff for money. And on the one hand, I don't know why I'm doing that with my hand. I've got the ghost of Tommy Cooper has come over me, which is quite weird. Anyone heard of Tommy Cooper? Yeah. Oh, thank God, 3. All heard of prisons, though, I noticed. Right. So, for me, after a long while, I realised that actually what we needed to do as a society was maybe give more access to young people, communities, families, to express themselves. So I'm really concerned about the emotional and the psychological sense of being someone, particularly for those from the harder to reach backgrounds. When they say harder to reach, I've never had a problem finding them. They're there. They're on those estates or up and down the country, work up and down the country, working in some of the hardest areas. In those communities, what binds them often is a sense of art, music, drama, all those great little things that happen, but not on a really expensive level. So the funding element for us has been about utilizing money to do more than just present art. So it's not just about making films, it's not just about painting bollards, which all have their value, no doubt about it. Obviously, we like to see things that are nice. We're human beings, we like that. For me, however, I'm more interested in stopping people mugging you as you're looking at that kite flyer. When you're in there going, oh, a lovely place, cafe. Hey, I haven't got any money to pay that person in the cafe because I've just been mugged. Because not only does it have a massive impact on you, your families, but it also has an impact on the people that perpetrate those crimes. So for me, it's kind of like, how do you get to those people before they get to prison? How do you stop? Where is the value and where's the quality in our society? Luckily, in Wiltshire, we have a very enlightened council. For 15 years, we've been working with the council in some of the hardest areas, not just doing public consultation, looking at how, all the different parts of in fact, the South Wilts plan was done with us and lots of council workers using Forum Theatre. Does everyone know what Forum Theatre is? What a great audience. You see, Tommy Cooper, Forum Theatre. Imagine Tommy Cooper doing some Forum Theatre. Can you imagine that? I can't, but I will later. So we've used that Forum Theatre to absolutely consult with the hardest to reach, with all the echelons of society. We've had our work exemplified by the government. I've been a part of the Department of Culture to consult on how you use the arts in a much more effective way. As nice as it is seeing people's sculptures, as nice as it is seeing paintings and dance and all that sort of good stuff, I'm more interested in about all the human beings that we have in our society having an access to express themselves so they don't come up to the conclusion that they are beyond society, that they don't have a buy-in, that they are quite happy to destroy that art that you see. Look at me and say, who are these people? I'll tell you they are. We're going to Winchester next week. That's how we get our funding. The quality of life is the biggest indicator for me. It's the senior citizens on that estate, not just in Wiltshire, but up and down the country, all the different people and the young people that come to the conclusion that there is nothing down for them in society. So it's a healing process. It's part of the way of getting people to buy into the quality and to express themselves. Again, we've won awards with Wiltshire Council for our work with social services to allow young people to communicate at a really high level. We've had young people from Wiltshire going to London to the Tate Modern to do conferences, doing plays and interactive forum theatre with decision makers, MPs, all sorts of people, to express to them what it's like, to give them an example which both deals with the intellectual and emotional responses of the participants and the audiences. God, it's heavy, isn't it? Isn't it heavy? I feel quite heavy. I'll be all right, I'll be all right. I might not be all right. I might faint. If I faint, will someone give me math resuscitation? No one. Well, fair play to you. Did you say that? Yeah, you would. Thank you. That's very kind. Right, so we work in the most diverse way, but our main remit, and it's explained in that the sustainable development bit, we've worked with the Science Museum up and down the country, we've worked at the Royal Institute, we've worked in some of the most amazingly unartistic places in the country. We've worked with massive multi-million-pound businesses using the arts to explain to them why if they build a petrochemical company in a certain way or a plant in a certain way, it will have the emotional, environmental and economic impact and social impact that will be detrimental to everyone. So decision makers in companies, in businesses and in organisations. So we've been up and down the country in councils, all sorts, looking at using the arts to explain and express and explore all sorts of consultation issues, race issues, you name it. Anything you can think of. In fact, name it. Name something and I'll see if we've done it. Go on, anything. What was that, my love? Nothing. You can't. Okay, you can't. So there's lots of different areas we've worked in. So the idea, I guess, for me is, first and foremost, is not about the artiste, but how that art form is going to allow the participants themselves, so if they're groups of young people in care, or they're prisoners, or they're people on a housing estate, to find a common way of expressing and allowing people to understand them both intellectually and emotionally. So we've worked on national projects with the homeless, all sorts of good stuff, which allows people to feel better about themselves without patronising them. We are talking about some of the hardest areas, Brixton, Salford, you name it. We've done those things, but because we're driven by the idea that if you get to those people before they get to the people who are going to Winchester to buy and look at the art and go to the cafe, we will have a better society. Now, does anyone want to fight? No. Any questions? I don't know if I've explained anything there, really. Do you know what I mean? How?
How's your funding?
Oh, mate, I could tell you this really great story about the Department of Culture. When I said about that homeless project, right, we were lucky. We got a pop star who gave us some money to do this national homeless project. So we did it, but we did apply. All right, do you want to put the Arts Council? Did I say the Arts Council? Isn't that Freudian or something? It's got to be Freudian, isn't it? The Arts Council, hello? The Arts Council, right, we asked them for some funding to work alongside and go, right, because we're going to go to these areas all over the country, and Salisbury was bizarrely one of them. We're going to go here, we're going to do this, and we're going to work with these people who are absolutely bereft of any hope, any whatever, and we're going to do all sorts of arts with them, and we're going to allow them to express themselves to decision makers in their localities, and then do a national conference. So we put this bid in, and they said, and they said, no, you can't have any money. That's not going to work. So we did it, right? And then we did this national conference. The Department of Culture said, that's amazing. How do you get these people that are so, say, bereft of everything to get up there, write songs, make films, dance, poetry? Then I said, well, it wasn't easy, and it didn't involve the Arts Council. They said, well, listen, would you come on our board and you go up and down the country and tell us, as a facilitator, how you can use the arts and why they're important? I said, what do you mean? He said, well, we've got this thing. We want to do this consultation paper to show ministers why the arts are integral and important. And I said, and I mean this, I said, well, they're ministers. Surely they must understand the benefit of the arts and culture. I mean, they're ministers in the Department of Culture and Media. Surely they already know. And they said, no, we want you to come up and down the country and with other people and tell them why it is. And, okay, I'll do that. I'll do that. And they did it. So then I said, you do me a favour. We're going to apply to the Arts Council again, yeah, after having done this one, to do this project. But we want you to write the bid. So we got the Department of Culture to write the bid to the Arts Council, having proven beyond any credible doubt that we could do what we said we'd do. Did we get the bid, people? Smoking crack? No, we didn't. And that's what we're up against, right? Because obviously there's this sort of level of idea of what art is. I'm saying, forget about all your beautiful big things like that. What would you, if you were to ask all the people politically in any of the catchment areas, anywhere you are up and down this country, which would you prefer? Less people killing people, mugging people and bruising and damaging their lives, because more people have access so the hearts and their minds feel better about themselves and their communities, or big bits of sculpture? What do you think they'd reply? Come on, anyone. What do you think they'd reply? Think about all those people in those places. You get more people, less people hurting each other, or big bits of art. What do you think? What do you think they'd say? Who is? What do you think? Oh, that's because of me. Oh, trust me. Believe me, once the Department of Culture realised what they couldn't even get a bid from the Arts Council. What do you think they thought? They went, they loaded their guns and they went and they shot. No, they didn't. Metaphorically, they went, wait a minute, you're right, little pleb. I said, yes, hello. He said, little pleb, you were right. The Arts Council are totally out of touch. I said, oh, I didn't mean to say it like that. I might be at a conference later on in my life with a bloke from the Arts Council. They could be really embarrassing. He said, don't worry, because you're a pleb and you don't have any etiquette. And it's true, I don't. It turns out I don't have any etiquette at all.